It's really important that you have a set plan, some set structure and discipline in place that you can follow so you can be at your absolute best when it comes to a training camp at the beginning of the season. Okay? Because without it, you'll really just get mediocre results and everybody's going to destroy you on the ice. What's going on, guys? This is Brayden from Advanced Mid Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about the off-season protocol here that you guys should follow to get the best results when it comes to training camp here moving forward in August. So there's this misconception out there that if you just work hard, show up to the gym, do what you got to do, you're actually going to be in great shape and you're going to be great for the beginning of the season as a hockey player. Unfortunately, even though this might work when you're younger, as you get more and more of a competitive level in hockey, so as you go through junior, NCAA, or major junior, and then you go to the pros, you really can't do this anymore. Just doing random workouts and stuff, while somewhat helpful and it's better than doing nothing, it's really not going to set you apart at those competitive levels. It's really important that you have a set plan, some set structure and discipline in place that you can follow so you can be at your absolute best when it comes to the training camp at the beginning of the season. Okay, really important that you have this set plan in place, because without it, you'll really just get mediocre results and everybody's going to destroy you on the ice when it comes to training camp.
I will destroy you.
And I know you guys don't want that, so the whole point of this video here is to give you guys that set structure so you show up to camp and you absolutely dominate. Now, before I give you guys the protocol here, what would an AHA video be without me asking you to absolutely destroy that like button? If you do, you will be rewarded with a picture of a baby panda at the end of the video. Also too, if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, let's dive right into the protocol here. All right, so first things first, at the end of the season, don't start just doing weights right away. Don't go right into it, okay? Really make sure, take some time off, relax for a week or two. I think it really pays dividends, not only physically, but mentally as well. Go on a trip if you have the means for it, or work a job, like if you need to make some money, whatever. Do whatever you gotta do, relax, play some video games, whatever it is. Take a little bit of time off at least. Now, even though you feel like, oh, but I need to work hard, I'll be going backwards if I do this. Almost every single player I know does this, including the pro hockey players that we contact with, and even all our guys that we advise. We always tell them to do this, and most players I know do this, and it really pays dividends. It doesn't have to be for a whole month where you do nothing. I think that's too long, but I think taking a week, 2 weeks, listen to your body, see how you feel, and then once you start getting back into it, then once you start feeling better, then you start getting into your training protocol here. So also too, when I say by doing nothing, it doesn't mean just sit on the couch, for 2 weeks. Go travel around, go on some hikes, do you can play some soccer, play a sport that you haven't before. It's different activities where you're not just full training mode. This is where you can do little, blind workouts without a set plan. You just literally just do whatever that you need to do to relax, recharge, and get ready for the protocol that you're going to start in a couple weeks from now. All right, so assuming that you've taken your week or 2 weeks of kind of relaxation time or vacation time, from there's 3 main phases that you want to follow in the summer. And the length of time that you do them depends on how much time that you have. So if you finish your season in May, then you have a bit less time compared to somebody who finishes in March. Most junior players, they finish around March, early April, something like that, but it could be a bit shorter or a bit longer. So it depends on where you're at. But the 3 main phases basically are, first, mobility converting into strength. That's the first step. So you focus on mobility for the first week or two, then you go into strength. The second phase will be converting that strength into power. Okay, so really going fast. And then the third phase is going to be converting that power into endurance and having a nice mix of both. Now, I just did the overview here, but we're really going to dive into each phase separately and the whole timeline of things moving forward here. All right, so at the beginning here, so let's say it's April, May, could vary between each person. You're really focusing on mobility and strength. The first week or so, you're really going hard on the mobility because you lose a lot of mobility as you're playing hockey throughout the season. So you're really going hard on this on the first week. You're doing a little bit of strength, but mainly the mobility work. There's a ton of different band exercises, mobility exercises available on their outline, so we're not going to go into it in detail here, but you're going to focus on this. And then once you feel like your body's really getting into the groove, that's when you really go leaning hard into the strength and a bit less on the mobility moving forward. But you don't want to just completely eliminate the mobility. The strength is basically your standard exercises like squat. So heavy squats, you're going to do heavy bench press. I can name a ton of exercises like that, pushing up, the weights, all that kind of stuff. Single leg lunge, a lot of single leg work is really important, especially in this phase here. Single leg lunges, all that kind of stuff. Deadlifts, those really help for your core strength. You're really going for, maybe it really depends and it could get really nuanced here, but you're really going for strength. So I'd say maybe 6 to 8 reps, something like that. You could go a bit more, a bit less. It really depends depends, but really push yourself for this to get really strong. So that's essentially the main bulk of the first phase. You're going to be dedicating quite a bit of time in this phase just so you can build up that strength. And then when you feel like you're ready for it, or when the timing comes and you think it's the right time, then you're going to move into phase 2, which is converting that strength, that core strength that you build up, into power. Now what power is really just strength plus speed. Okay, so instead of just moving like that, let's say you're doing bench press, just moving the weight like this, pushing it up, power is really good. It's going to be explosive. Okay, so examples of power is, yes, you want to focus on strength still a bit, right? So the exercise like bench, squats, all that, but a lot of trainers are really going to transition to more Olympic style lifts. So things like hang cleans and all these kinds of lifts, those are going to be the lifts that you'll do. So Turkish get-ups, hang cleans, like there's so many different lifts that you could focus on out there. Some trainers like some more than others, but these you really want to focus on getting that power down, right? So I would say typically around June, something like that, that's when the power phase really begins, but it really depends on your timeline. And usually trainers focus on this for like 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what the timeline is again. But 4 weeks is totally fine for this because you've built up that strength. That's usually the longest part. And then, those 4 weeks of power really, transition into the speed aspect. And then once you're done the power, that's when you're going to go more into the endurance. And we're going to dive more into the nuance here on the endurance, partly because it's my favorite topic. It's the workouts I like the most, but because it's probably the time that there's a bit more nuance and there's more details going on here. But the power, again, is Olympic lifts and the strength exercises that you've done, but you're doing it more at a fast pace. So maybe a little bit less weight and focusing more on explosive speed. That's the power aspect to it. A couple more things I want to mention before we move on to phase 3 though, is that in the power phase, you do want to start incorporating a little bit of cardio and a little bit of ice time, okay? In the other phase 2, like the strength phase, you can go on the ice or do a little bit of cardio, but you don't really have to. It's not a big focus. In the power phase, you want to start reintroducing it just a little bit, okay? Maybe once a week you go on the ice. You could do twice a week, but then you might take away from your power, right? I would say maybe like once a week, you go on the ice, get the rust off the skills and stuff. And cardio, you start doing it maybe like once or twice a week, something like that. I guess your ice could count as one cardio, another cardio session could count as another cardio session, or you could do a little bit of cardio before each session to warm yourself up. But again, the big focus isn't cardio here. It's really getting that power down. But I want to mention this so people don't just completely disregard this for their summer. So moving on to phase 3 here is when you're combining power with more endurance work. So for this, yes, you're still going to be doing some Olympic lifts, all that stuff. You're still going to be having a few days just dedicated to the power, but instead of doing power almost every workout, you're really going to intermingle it with things like sprints, with things like jumps. Okay, you're going to do a lot more things like this where you're going to hit more cardio, hit workouts. I've talked about it in the past, but doing like a 45-second, 15-second off, or 45-second on, 45-second off, all this stuff for like 20 to 30 minutes. Those workouts are an absolute bagger. They're not fun to do. I sadistically enjoy doing them. I love how I feel at the end of them. I feel like completely satisfied, but I would say not everybody enjoys them if they don't enjoy cardio that much, but they're great workouts to go to. The sprints, like all these kinds of things, that's really is what's going to put you into hockey shape. And you want to simulate shifts as much as possible, or you want to really work on the power as much as possible. So for example, when you're doing sprints, you're either going to focus on sprinting for like 5 seconds to 10 seconds all out, where you're not like completely huffing and puffing at the end, but doing that. Bonus tip here, if you want to do uphill sprints, that's a huge hack, and it really improves your overall power and speed. But again, digressing here, you want to do that, or you want to do 45 seconds. Okay, so simulating a shift. So you can either do a sprint for 45 seconds, you can do long jumps for 45 seconds. Try not to get hurt with the long jumps, so that's one thing. You can do the hit workouts, 45 on, 45 off, something like that. Those are baggers, but they're great. And all these things, you're basically using that power and like strength and the power that you've built up, and you like building that endurance layer on it as well. So that's the one big thing when it comes to phase 3. Also too, in phase 3, you're going to incorporate a lot more ice time into your training, because you do have to get back into the swing of things before camp. You don't want to just do all off ice. You get on the ice and you're useless out there, right? So phase 3, typically, it's nice because hockey does have a cardio element to it. So you're really focusing going on the ice, and you're getting your cardio out of it too. So basically you're going to go maybe like 2 to 3 times a week. I would say if you're really serious, if you're dedicating all your time to training, 3 times a week is nice for hockey. But again, listen to your body, see how you feel, all that kind of stuff. 2 times a week is fine too. And then intermingle your workouts throughout. Some days you'll be going off ice and on ice, but other days you'll just be doing the off ice, and other days you'll just be doing the on ice. It really depends how you structure it and what makes your body really feel the best. So overall, that is phase 3. I think if you follow this phase 3 and really do this between the months of like July and mid-July to mid-August, end of August, you do this for like a month and a half about. That's what you try typically aim for. If you have less time, you do it for a month. But if you really follow this plan step by step, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, you're going to be in peak condition when it comes to training camp, and you're absolutely going to dominate out there.
It's truly awesome.
I was very serious back in the day on my training, and I followed this kind of phase progression after I actually met Dave DeChevy. He's the one who helped me put these phases together. And honestly, I followed it for actually 2 summers before my second year of Western New England and before my 3rd year at going to Trine. Honestly, like I was in such great shape. I felt like I never got tired on the ice. It was actually kind of crazy. I like destroyed every single fitness thing that we did. It was nuts. So I really do know from personal experience that this type of phase progression really yields unbelievable results, and if you follow them, I assure you, you will not you will thank me. You will not regret following them if you do. It's not fun in the moment, it's a lot of work, but it will pay off in the long run. All right, my friends, this brings the video to an end here, but just a quick recap. Basically, there's 3 phases that you want to follow. Before you do get into these phases, you take a rest for about a week or 2, and then you go into the mobility, transitioning into strength phase, so phase 1, and then phase 2 is the strength transitioning into power, so focusing on the power, so strength fast. And then phase 3 is having power with a lot of cardio and endurance combined together to form basically the ultimate beast hockey player that's going to dominate at camp. All right, guys, that is a wrap for the video here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it here. If you smashed that like button a while ago and you watched this entire video, here's your reward of the baby panda. Super, super cute, right? If you haven't already, absolutely destroy that like button. It goes a huge way for the algorithm. If you're new here and if you like these kind of videos, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. If you have any questions for us, anything whatsoever, anything you want to add as to what I said, or if you're a keyboard warrior wanting to tell me I know nothing about hockey and training, comment down below. And if you want to message us privately, send us an email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.